Fonzie after 5.
Welcome back to another episode of Fonzie After 5, my ode to late night 90s call-in radio with a holiday twist. Tonight, I am joined by the wonderful Sara Womble. Welcome, Sara. Today, I have with me Sara Womble. Sara, thank you so much for joining me today and talking to me. Where are you joining us from?
So I am currently in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where my family lives. I'm usually based in Boston, but I'm here for the holidays.
For the holidays. And how long have you been down in North Carolina?
Well, actually, this time I've only been here for about 3 days, I guess, but I've been back and forth throughout the pandemic a bunch. I spent like 6 months here at a stretch because I was filming an opera, and also there was no traveling, and it's good to be here with family instead of all alone in Boston. So yeah.
Oh, that's much better. Yeah. Did you grow up in North Carolina?
I did. I'm coming to you now from my very messy childhood bedroom, so you can only see this much of it because it's not.
Oh, hooray! Do you have a Backstreet Boys poster on the wall?
You know, I wish I could say I had a Backstreet Boys poster. This is so much worse. I have, I'm going to try to show you without showing any of the mess, a poster of myself from my college opera workshop on the wall.
That's adorable.
I have on the other wall, I have a picture of Beethoven. So I was a very popular child.
Just a typical teenage bedroom.
Absolutely.
That's adorable. So is this the house that you were like the first house you ever lived in as a kid?
Actually, no, we lived across town until I was I guess 6 or 7. But then I barely remember it. I mean, it's not far. It's a smallish town actually, but sometimes I walk over there, but this is my childhood house, I guess. Yeah. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to kind of it was nice being here actually in the summer. One, because it's the South and everything is air conditioned. I don't have air conditioning in Boston. And two, it was just it's nice to be in nature. We have a big yard here and puppy dogs, so it was good.
Oh, that's really nice. When you were little, did you have dogs?
I did. We always had dogs. I mean, we had a couple of like interregnums between dogs, but otherwise, we had Brittany Spaniels when I was a kid. We had 2 that were born like about a year before I was, and then we had 2 more we got them when I was in 8th grade, and now my parents have Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, who are like basically if you took a Brittany, well, people know what they are. You just like squish the Brittany Spaniel down and it's a Cavalier King Charles, and they're very, very sweet. And my brother, who is, he lives in Chicago, but he's driving down tomorrow, actually. He has a German Shorthair Pointer mix. So we have a ton. It's a full house of dogs.
Oh, that's the way it should be. I love that. So when you think back to Christmases in the house that you're in, what did your house look like at Christmas time? Does it look like that now, or do you have a very kind of specific memory of what Christmas looked like in your house as a kid?
You know, I would love to say it was always baking cookies and perfect decorations, and mostly Christmas was chaos. I mean, wonderful, happy chaos, but we were all always busy, just always been a very busy family. And we would always be decorating, like it's a thing. We put up the tree, on December 23rd, maybe if we're lucky, and we're still decorating at like midnight on Christmas Eve. So we're kind of chill as far as all of the traditions go. But gosh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think if I would say that it's similar in that regard because all of us are home and working from home. So chaos reigns. But actually we might end up decorating a little bit earlier this year since we're all stuck here. We might as well decorate and start being festive. We always would get a big tradition in Winston-Salem is Moravian Sugar cookies, which they're just, I don't know if it's a thing. Actually, I don't really have a sense if it's a thing in the wider world outside of Winston-Salem, but they're just these little like delicious little baked ginger snap cookies. And I unfortunately can't eat them anymore because I have celiac, but we'll be getting some of those, I think, later this week, and I can at least smell them. Other people eating them.
I'm sure if there's such a big thing, there's got to be a gluten-free bakery that makes their own version.
I'm going to look into that actually, because there's there's so many good gluten-free bakeries in the world, and there must be some kind of delicious gluten-free Christmas cookie. So yeah.
So I hate to make you relive it if you're not going to get to eat them this year, but what shape are they in, and what flavor do they have?
That's a very good question. They come in a bunch of different shapes actually. They're these little, they're like paper thin. And so the best thing to do is to dip them in coffee or tea, but you can dip them for like 2 seconds and then they disintegrate. But they're like, the ones we always get are ginger, like kind of ginger cookie flavor. And they come in, there are Christmas trees and snowflakes and what my brother and I used to think were dogs, but it turns out they're reindeer. I'm sure that there are other shapes I'm not remembering right now. Oh, like stars, like Moravian stars. It's like a special star with a bunch of points. These are such a thing in my town that I don't know if it's a thing outside of Winston-Salem.
No, I mean, I haven't. I mean, I don't know that I've had them, or maybe I know them by a different name. But where would you get them? Would you get them at bakeries, or at just every store had them prepackaged, or how'd that
get
work?
them at oh my gosh, what's it? Oh, Dewey's Bakery, which is like I guess I actually don't know if it's a specifically Moravian bakery, but they come in like a package. They're Winston-Salem, the Salem half of Winston-Salem was settled by these Moravian settlers from, like, I guess the south of Germany, and then what's now Czech Republic. And so there's a lot of those traditions here. So I guess I'm sure that you could find them at other stores, but we would always get them in these big red tins, and they come in, I don't know, there are probably like 100 layers in a tin, and they're separated by like round pieces of plastic that we would make little, fold them and make snowflakes with. That was a thing in school as well.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Yeah, cute little Winston-Salem traditions.
So when you guys would be putting your tree up on Christmas Eve, was this a real tree or a fake tree?
We've been lucky to have a real tree every year, and I think we're going to get a real tree again this year. So it's a lovely tradition, and probably the nice thing that we get out of putting it up so late is that it lasts well into January. Everybody else, their tree is down on the street like the day after Christmas, and it's like January 15th and we're putting the tree out.
Are there any ornaments that you remember hanging in particular, like any that you really loved as a kid, or maybe something that you thought was funny that always showed up on the tree every year that was kind of unique?
We have some good ones. The ones I love, there are these little 6 little angels. I say little, they're actually big, they're like about this big. And they're just really pretty, and they're all playing harps. And when I was a very little kid, I just loved to look at them and like, look at their pretty golden hair. And I remember always, they're my grandmother's, I think, and hanging those over the fireplace. I'm trying to think. I mean, we have a bunch of Christmas ornaments that my brother and I made. And every year my brother will try to like throw some of them away because they're so hideous. And my mom's like, no, you can't throw that away. So, I'm trying to think if there are any other interesting,
do you do a tree topper of any kind?
We do. We put a Moravian star. I mean, we're not Moravian, but we're just like steeped in the traditions of the town, and so there's a little light up Moravian star. So yeah, they're very pretty. They have lots of points. It's a pretty star.
Are you a Christmas Eve or Christmas morning present opening family?
We were Christmas morning, pretty much. Occasionally it would be Christmas afternoon because we'd still be wrapping presents, or occasionally just like, I remember one year I was very little. My parents gave me this doll house, and it was pretty big, and they just like put a blanket over it because it was too big to wrap. So
that's awesome. It's kind of like the big reveal. Just pull the blanket away. Ooh, tell me about this dollhouse, because that sounds like a pretty awesome gift.
It was awesome. It was, I'm somewhat shameful in terms of like my femininity, because I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. enjoyed playing with it. I was probably kind of a brat because I kind of let it die. Like I didn't play with it much beyond, after a while I was like, okay, it's a house. Like, I would probably appreciate it much more now. But it was wooden. I think it was all wooden dolls. What I did love, there was a little teeny tiny tea set. So that was really cool. I liked that.
Your parents were like, well, let's check the list again next year before we So okay, if the dollhouse wasn't like up at the top of like the best presents ever, what would you say as a kid? Do you have any memories of something that was like, oh man, the year I got this thing? Or
I mean, there were when I don't remember receiving, I should say, him, but my very first Christmas, I was, I guess, 11 months old. I got Spot, who is my little stuffed dog, who I have to this day. So that was very, very special.
Is Spot nearby? Can we see Spots?
Spot is nearby. I mean, he is, well, Spot, much like me, doesn't want to reveal his true age, but he has been around for more than a few decades. So I will.
Oh, well, those are just absolutely the best ones, though.
Here's Spot.
Oh, kiddo, look at him.
But
my goodness.
When he was born, a number of years ago, he was very fluffy and very much more much less unsightly.
Oh, he's
but
perfect.
Yeah, he was very special. And I also I guess I was probably in middle school. I got a CD Walkman, which was the coolest thing ever, because when I was a very little kid, I would sit on the school bus. I would sit in the front and listen to, again, I was very popular. This was back in the early part of the 20th century, before there were, radios, I guess, in school buses. So the bus drivers would always have like a little radio, like, themselves.
Yeah.
And they would, whatever they were listening to, if they were listening to music, I would sing along with it. And if they were listening to talk radio, I would just sit at the front of the bus and sing to myself. So I think that the little Walkman was, it was great for me, and also probably great for the other kids and the bus drivers who no longer had to listen to that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Do you remember what some of those first CDs were that you listened to?
I mean, I wish that I could say, oh yeah, I listened to normal things, like the Spice Girls, but I remember Debussy's Sunken Cathedral. My mom is a pianist, or she would say was a pianist. She is no longer, she doesn't play really anymore, but so we grew up lots and lots of music, not so much opera, but pretty much everything else. But so lots of good piano music, lots of Chopin, the Beethoven, I always loved the Seventh, the Carillon recordings. I have since discovered, okay, I'm sorry, I should rein myself in.
That's great. These are Sarah's pro tips.
I love the Carillon recordings, always will. But I also love kind of some of the, I don't know if you've heard Beethoven 9 that the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment did, that's all on period instruments, that it's really, it's pretty bomb. But anyway, lots of classical music, I guess, is the answer. And I do remember, I remember getting I mean, we listened to opera some, but it wasn't, my mom played for singers when she was in college. She accompanied all kinds of lessons, but she hated playing for singers because we're the worst.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. So having a singer daughter is this like terrible revenge that the universe has acted upon her. But so we listened to some opera, but my parents gave me some, like, just like a compilation CD. I think I was maybe in like 5th or 6th grade, and I just remember like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I listened over and over again to Giovanni and Zerlina duet, La Chita Ram, like over and over and over.
So do the puppies get included in the present giving? Do they ever get presents around Christmas or anything?
They absolutely do. I mean, we are such dog crazy people. They usually, I mean, they get like bones and rawhide things. This year I think they're getting, I'll say it quietly so they don't hear, but there's my dad found this thing, this like, it's some kind of a toy that you can put in the shower so that when they're getting a bath, there's it like dispenses peanut butter somehow. I don't really know how it works, but I mean they hate getting baths. So it might make it a little bit better.
I'm trying to envision a dog toy that dispenses peanut butter in the water.
I know, I don't know how it's gonna work. I think maybe it goes on the side of the shower or something. And
oh, that's genius.
yeah.
Like, could I get my breakfast stuck to the side of the shower? Well, it's really maybe a straw with a coffee so I can just get it all done.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
That's hilarious, the things we do for our pets to like try to make our lives easier too.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they need frequent baths? Are they, well, first of all, are Cavalier King Charles dogs that need grooming?
They technically, yes. They have not been groomed, and our dogs are always sort of wild. Like a nice, respectable Cavalier King Charles goes to the groomer, I guess, like monthly. They have their like nicely brushed. They have pretty little curly ears. Ours are wild. They have leaves like sticking to their long fur. They're definitely, for teeny tiny dogs, they are real dogs. They hunt chipmunks. But they should be groomed, I guess is the answer.
And what are their names, the ones you have now?
They are Macintosh and Felicity. Very, like, ridiculous little names, but they match them well. They have Macintosh has a very like assertive kind of almost militaristic personality, and Felicity is like a little bit quirky, and she's also, she can be pretty assertive, but she's like kind of she's a little more chill, I guess.
Aww. Oh my god, love dog. I would say personalities, but it's actually, I guess, like a doganality, because it's
exactly dogsonalities.
So this year, since your brother's coming down and you're all going to be together, do you guys like to cook? Like, will there be like yummy food around?
We will definitely be doing some cooking. That's probably our biggest tradition is lots and lots of food. We don't, the past couple of years we've made bolognese for Christmas Eve. We don't really have, we don't make like a goose or something. but Christmas morning we always do a big brunch, and as many like unhealthy and decadent things as possible. I think I'm gonna try to make gluten-free crepes this year, because I think that's easier than this is my first fully gluten-free Christmas, so kind of trying to experiment with how to make that work. I'm sure
lots of meringues.
Meringues. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yes. Oh my gosh, good call.
Did you have any Christmas stories or Christmas movies that you would watch every year? Like, were you like, we got to do the Christmas Carol or Muppets or anything like that?
Probably for most of college, every Christmas we would watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, like in to Christmas and then through the next couple of days, because they're long. But I'm trying to think if
are those some of your favorite books? Like, did both of you like the Lord of the Rings books?
Definitely. I loved probably, I mean, I think he loved them too. I was to say, I'm more of the lowbrow, like fantasy type. He studies Victorian literature, much more, nothing so popular as the Lord of the Rings.
No, of course not.
But no, I probably shouldn't say that. I'm sure he would say like that's ridiculous. But yeah, no, I loved Lord of the Rings. I don't know that I would say that they were my favorite. I could, best not to ask me about books because I will go on for a long time. But I'm an American literature fan myself. But I did, yeah, Lord of the Rings is good stuff.
Do you have any do you have any memories as a kid of times that you would get some snow, and like was that something exciting, or was it like ew, what's this?
It was definitely, I mean, it was for sure exciting because it was such a novelty. We would, I don't know why it doesn't happen so much anymore. But when I was a kid, we would lose power at the drop of a hat. I don't know. It's just not like the power system isn't kind of snow-proofed here because it's not a thing. But I remember one year we lost power for almost a week, I think, and we all would.
Whoa.
I mean, luckily it doesn't get, it doesn't get crazy cold here. So it was cold, but we were fine. And we would like gather around the fire to keep warm and just hang out together and make food like that we could make without I don't really remember how we cooked, but we would just kind of, that was definitely a lot of fun. And I remember we would go, there's a big hill up the street from us. So we would take our little, like those little flat sleds and sled down the hill when it would snow. I mean, it was, we would get one snow a year probably that would be, I mean, like 3 or 4 inches, which seemed like a lot. Now, as I'm shoveling like 2 feet of snow in Boston, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a big change of pace with like all the nor'easters and everything that comes through here.
Yes.
So have you ever spent a Christmas or holiday up in Boston or part of the year or part of the season at least, or are you usually down in North Carolina?
I've come down like 2 days before Christmas usually. But I've been lucky. I've had church jobs, but I've never had to actually do a church job away from home on Christmas, which is nice. I've never had to do the like fly home on Christmas Day thing. But so I've definitely, I love Boston at Christmas time. It's very beautiful. And I'm still, even though I don't enjoy shoveling my car, I'm a kid about the snow still when it really like a big snow is up there. I remember my first blizzard up there, like my first year of grad school, but yeah, no, I've been, Christmas itself, I've always been here.
Is there a part of the city that's like, do you like to go around, look at lights, or like to go downtown? Or is it just kind of in your day-to-day life, just seeing the stuff around you is enough?
I would say a little of both. I mean, it's definitely the downtown area, like the Beacon Hill area is very lovely. It's so quaint with the cobbled streets and everything. And it just has a very Christmassy vibe, I guess. But there's just something exciting about being in a cold climate around a holiday time. Like people are bundled up in their coats and they're going shopping and they're going about their business there's just, I don't know, there's something exciting about cold, I guess, to a person from the tropics of North Carolina.
Is there anything else that kind of comes to mind, or like any feelings you have about the holidays, or just kind of anything that comes to mind when you think about the holidays and, Christmas and the New Year and
yeah, I mean, what a nice question. I guess the biggest things, being together with family, talking to friends, just kind of enjoying because I say Christmas was always chaotic. The lead up to Christmas was always chaotic, but then there'd always be the kind of the time of relaxation itself on Christmas Day itself, and kind of in the couple of days, like the food coma following. And yeah, just, I guess, like being outside, going for walks in the cold, or the relative cold of North Carolina. Yeah, listening to the Vienna Philharmonic New Year's Eve or New Year's Day concert was always something we would do together. Gosh, I guess just laziness and lots of food and hanging out with family. And puppy.
Oh, thank you so much for talking to me today. It was great to see you. And so much love to your family in North Carolina. Safe travels for your brother. And before we go, I wanted to know what song you would like to hear and who you'd like to dedicate it to.
So I would love to hear Silent Night I think in any or as many languages as whoever would like. And my little dedication was kind of long. I think I'd like to dedicate it to all of the artists and the arts organizations who got absolutely I mean, to say rocked back on our heels is quite an understatement, but who are having kind of the hardest year that we've really ever had. And all of them who have dug deep and figured out how to keep creating and how to keep doing exciting and important things and innovating and yeah, making this happen. Yourself included, because this is such an amazing connective thing that you're doing, and I'm very excited to be a part of it and to hear my songs. So yeah.
Oh, well, Sarah, thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, here is Silent Night.
Hi, this is Mary-Hollis Hundley in St. Louis, Missouri, and here is Silent Night for Sara Womble, dedicated to the artists and organizations who have really struggled during this time, but who are continuing to create art and beauty however they can.
It's Mary-Hollis! Oh, wow, it's been so long. It's been so long. I can't believe, like, yeah, but okay, so should I? Okay.
Yeah.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, alles schläft, einsam wacht, nur das traute heilige Paar, holde Knabe in lockigen Haar, schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe, schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe.
Oh my gosh, how lovely. She sounds so beautiful. And also I love the candlelight. It's so perfect and so gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, Sarah, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me. It was lovely to see you. And I hope that as things get back to normal, that you are able to take with you things that, you know, you learned during the pandemic and bring them into whatever new situation we have as artists, and that you get to create and share your absolutely beautiful voice as soon as possible.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for this. This is just such an amazing project, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. So thank you.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family, Sarah.
Same to you.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah.
Thank you again for joining me for tonight's episode, and a very special thank you to Sara Womble and Mary-Hollis Hundley. Sarah, I hope you enjoy your time in North Carolina and that you're able to find some gluten-free Moravian sugar cookies. Merry Christmas, everybody, and remember, It's after 5 somewhere.
Fonzie after 5.